Hello everyone, thanks for joining me for another one of my videos, this time looking at some beautiful multicoloured vinyl pressings from the States, part of my multicoloured vinyl fetish if you like, but they're just wonderful pressings these, and I'm still not collecting really, but when there are things as beautiful as these that come out, you kind of feel as if you just need to not miss the boat if you like. So the first one is a band called Ashwood Gate. It's called Wayfaring Man. It's a really nice sleeve. Looks like they're a trio. It's a brand new release on Wet Records, and there is an insert with it, which is there. And this has got wax mage labels on one side. As you can see, beautiful pressing. Only 25 of these have been made, as per usual. And it says that on the label itself. So it's a really interesting pattern with this sort of orange, almost 3D effect, and then purple around the edge. And if we turn it over, you effectively get a more purple looking side with some, looks like almost a blowout of the label pieces set in there, but it's not just seeing through to the other side. If we turn it over, completely different. So fantastic thing, had to get a copy of that, and look forward to listening to the music. It's got slide guitar, harmonica, looks like a sort of country kind of vibe going on. Now, some time ago I showed you this pressing, Astral Lady by a band called Lord Velvet, again a Wet Records thing, so I'll just remind you what that one was like. Quite a wonderful thing. A wax mage pressing, I think limited to 25. So it's a beautiful thing. Well, they've just done a second run of this album, and again wax mage have done a limited pressing of 25 copies, which is just as interesting, if not more interesting, than that one. So same sleeve, nothing different about the sleeve or anything. This time we've got wax mage labels on the one side. So you've got this gorgeous green, beautiful effect with a little bit of yellow peeking in on the edge. So really pretty, but when you turn it over, again coming completely different. So it's purples and pinks with yellows and greens. So I think you'll agree that's quite a stunning thing. So for me that was completely different to the other one, so it was definitely one worthwhile adding. Some coloured vinyls. Also previously I showed you this release by Desert Suns called Edge of the Sky. Again, lovely pressing, wax mage labels, really beautiful colours, super duper splatter, really gorgeous. And again they they did obviously various other versions, including what they call random colour, which are done in far more quantities. There's only 25 of those, but I think the random colour ones are sort of done in 1,000 or a couple of thousand maybe, certainly much more, and they're not expensive at all. Normally the random colours aren't of interest to me because they're quite plain, so you might have just a plain green or plain red, or it might be slightly marbly, but they're sort of they're fairly ordinary, and they're kind of almost like the basic version. But the Desert Sun's version of random colour is completely spectacular, and I had to get them. So in the end I got I got 3. So everything else the same sleeve, but I've got to show you the vinyls. So first one, this effectively the blue version. So as you can see, it's gorgeous, vivid blue, with some white and yellow, and I think the yellows sort of combining to make it into a sort of a green up there as well. You can see there's all sorts of wave patterns and almost cloud effects. It's just gorgeous. I think you could almost call it like a starburst, but it's almost nearer to a sort of a hand pour job. So really gorgeous thing. So that's the blue version, if you like. And as I say, these were really inexpensive. 15 quid. And the other two you might be not shocked to learn is, first of all, we've got a red version. Absolutely stunning. Similar kind of style, but there's so much going on there, it's unbelievable. So again, you get the sort of wave effect pattern, you've got a bit of a sort of a swirl going on, got a bit of everything going on basically. Absolutely gorgeous. I could just sit and look at that all day long. So how they can do that just for that sort of price, I don't know, but I have to snap it up. These are through Glory or Death Records, so if you go onto their website you might find that these are still very much available. So I'm not quite sure how many they did of them, but and then the other, so we have blue, red, and then this is the green version. As you can see, that is just as beautiful as the others. This time we don't quite get the sort of wave patterning towards the label side, but we've got some beautiful kind of stretched splash effect there. So quite stunning. Quite stunning. So I thought, yeah, red, blue and green. Gotta get all those. There's other variants as well. So hunt them down is what I say. Now this brings me to the last two, and it's two versions of the same thing. Now in the past I've been aware that you can get liquid filled records, and I've kind of steered away from them really, because the ones that I've seen have been pretty much sort of fairly plain looking in terms of the colour. So you get this sort of interesting technicality of the two records squeezed together with liquid in the middle, which obviously flows about, but the sort of colours haven't really been there for me, so you get either sort of plain, it's kind of almost clear clear vinyl, but sometimes a bit mottly maybe, or maybe the odd colour here and there. Anyway, I discovered through thanks to Tim Guthrie, actually, who's one of the most renowned coloured vinyl collectors, that Wax Mage have done some pressings which have been made into liquid filled records. And so I did a bit of research and followed it up, and I've managed to secure 2 of them. So I've got to show you these. Basically the album is called From Boomtown to Ghost Town by a band called Phantom Hound. It's a really interesting sleeve, gatefold sleeve, makes it look like an old American newspaper. And the Oakland Chronicle, so I assume they're from Oakland, California, maybe wrong. But then inside each track is sort of given a feature, as if it's in a newspaper. I don't think it's the lyrics, I think they've just made a kind of feature of it. So it's a little bit akin to the Rolling Stones Winter Tour 73 All Meat Music album, where William Stout did a sort of illustration for each track, and that formed the insert. So a similar sort of idea, but they've made it into a sort of newspaper article, if you like. So as I say, these are basically 2 Wax Mage multicolour pressings squeezed together, sealed around the edge, and then you've got coloured liquid inside. So I've got to be very careful how I show you these. So as you can see, it's first of all quite a beautiful multicoloured pressing, and then you've got here green and red outer sort of sections which seal everything together, and then you've got this coloured liquid on the inside which flows and makes great patterns, and it's actually full of glitter as well. So you've got this beautiful glitter effect, which I don't know if that's picked up on the camera. So absolutely gorgeous, gobsmackingly so, I would say. It's very clever because you've got the coloured patterns on the vinyl, but then you've got enough translucency to enable the coloured liquid to create its own effect. So when the blue liquid kind of juxtaposes against the orange, that's just a beautiful look. So I think what they've done, so as far as I'm aware, they've done initial batch of 10, and I managed to get one of the initial batches, and then they did a second batch fairly quickly afterwards, so I managed to get one of those as well. So I'll show you the other one. Everything else is the same, and so this time we've got sparkly green and clear around the edge, milky clear, and then the liquid is mixture of blue and red. As I say, it's full of this beautiful glitter just provides such a fantastic effect. So they are stupendously pretty, and I don't know. I think that has to go down as the ultimate. To just show you you can see how there's two. I probably won't focus on it, but basically there's two records there with this sort of coloured vinyl strips around the edge to contain the liquid. They're made by a firm called Plasticat Deviations, so Waxmage do their pressings and then presumably send them to Plasticat, who I presume are also in the States, and they do the rest. So not a cheap process, and I'm sure I probably won't be able to afford to have too many of those, but they are, as I say, if you want a liquid filled record as an example of what they're like, I'm really glad that I managed to track these down, and big thanks to the people who made that possible, and also to Tim Guthrie for drawing my attention to the fact that these do exist out there. So so that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. I've tried to move around to try and be in a better light, so hopefully that's worked for you, but next one should be the Floyd boots, and obviously we'll continue with the A to Z just for the sake I've got to get to the end of it, and I'll thank you for watching.